Shri Ram, Shri Ram.
Rama Jaya Rama Rama Jaya Rama Rama Jaya Rama.
Sri Sai Ram, Chapter 9, Nether Regions. As per the previous chapter, Lakshmana fixed his sacred arrow on the bow and aimed at Meghananda, thus ending his life. Rama embraced Vibhishana, Hanuman, and others for their good deed. Meanwhile, Surushana and Meghananda's wife heard the news of her husband's death. The wise and virtuous Surushana said to Ravana, "O 10-headed one, is there any trace of hope that you will win victory? You are sunk in deep darkness of delusion." Surushana went to Queen Mandodari, her mother-in-law, saying this calamity was being brought by your husband. Mandodari too was pained when she contemplated the evil desires of Ravana. The two women sat silent for a while. Later, they described to each other the virtues and excellence of Rama and the chastity and patience of Mother Sita. Ravana folded his 20 palms and prayed to Lord Shiva. He fell to the floor of the temple in reverent homage. When this happened on the hearth above, Hai Ravana, living in nether region, became aware that Ravana was suffering a great burden of sorrow. Ai Ravana worshipped no other god but Devi Kamada. Immediately he meditated on her and her votary, the place where Ravana was at that time. He appeared before Ravana in Shiva temple. Ai Ravana was a son of Ravana. Ravana related the incident since the nose and ears of Supranaka was sliced off by the brothers. With his supernatural powers, he invoked the spirit of darkness that enveloped the Varanas in thick blackness. Hanuman elongated his tail to such an extent he could encircle the camp many a times over until it coiled over one another to make a high wall. Ai Ravana saw this fort and was stricken with great fear. He disguised himself as Vibhishana and accosted Hanuman at the gate. He told him, "I must go to the presence of Rama." With his approval, I had gone outside the camp to perform my evening prayer. Hanuman was taken in by his words and allowed him into the camp. Rama, Lakshmana, and the Varanas were asleep. The Rakshasa recited the Mohana mantra, and this made the Varanas sleep more soundly. He bound Rama and Lakshmana and carried them off to the region in the bowels of the earth called Patala. When the Varanas awoke, they were plunged in dismay when Rama and Lakshmana were not beside them. The place they slept became a deep pit. The Varanas lost hope and courage. Vibhishana returned from his sea bath after performing his morning rites. Only then it became known that Ai Ravana is a master in these tricks. Vibhishana immediately asked Hanuman to go to Patala, which is underground. Hanuman reached Patala region and rested underneath a tree. He heard two birds sitting above conversing aloud. Hanuman knew their language. One said, "Ai Ravana has two brothers, Rama and Lakshmana, and made preparation to sacrifice them to goddess Kamada. We can feast on these holy bodies." Hanuman immediately entered the city of Ai Ravana. At the entrance, he had to fight off Maradajwa, the monkey god. The monkey gave Hanuman the details of where the brothers were in captive. The guard monkey will not allow Hanuman, saying he was doing his duty. Both the monkeys fought until Hanuman twisted his tail on the guard and cast him off out in the distance. Hanuman entered the city. He noticed a florist with a big garland of fragrant flowers. Hanuman assumed into a molecular form and occupied the garland. Ai Ravana received the garland and placed it around the neck of the goddess. He offered various rich dishes of food to the idol. Hanuman ate the food offered. Ravana was happy that his prayers were being answered. Meanwhile, Lakshmana and Rama were brought in for execution and noticed that Hanuman had eaten the food offering. The Rakshasa rose from his seat and asked the brothers to express gratitude, any well wishes. That moment, Hanuman let a terrific roar. Grasping the sword from the hand of the goddess, he felled Ravana into many pieces. Because of the Rakshasa mysterious boon, his body was becoming whole. Hanuman fixed Rama in his mind and threw the head into the blazing fire. In the meantime, Ravana had no warriors to go with the battle until he was reminded of his son, Narataka. Hanuman fought Narataka and threw him deep into the nether region. Rasatala, millions of Rakshasa followers were thrown into the ocean. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Sai Ram, Chapter 10, 10 Heads Roll. This chapter begins with news of Ravana's son being killed. In response thereto, many wise scholars approached Ravana to give him consolation and comfort, but their efforts were in vain. Ravana then assembles the demon warriors and prepares for battle. He addresses the warriors and reminds them if they flee when the battle is on, he will slaughter them. This is how he hoped they would fight to the end. Ravana then ordered his warriors to begin the battle despite bad omens being experienced. Ravana was involved in an intense battle and at some stage was confronted by Lord Lakshmana. A duel ensued and Lord Hanuman came to Lord Lakshmana's rescue. Ravana, who was struck by Lord Hanuman, then sought refuge in Lanka. He then proceeded to undertake a destruction-yielding ritual. Vibhishana approached Lord Rama and related to him Ravana's plan to undertake the ritual. With Lord Rama's orders, the ritual was not completed. Ravana was badly disappointed that his sacrifice did not succeed and resolved to proceed to the battlefield. The army continued a mortal battle against Lord Rama. The battle ensued and Ravana lost all his warriors. He decided to draw on his magic powers. He exercised magic on all except Rama, but Rama willed otherwise. Ravana realized that his magic could not produce any effect. Soon, Rama called the monkeys to his presence and told them in grave seriousness, "You are all exhausted by the long and hardy battle. Go and rest. Watch the fight between Rama and Ravana." Ravana then encountered Rama with a challenging roar. Rama smiled and in his soft voice, "Fool, first listen to the words of moral counsel I'm giving. There are 3 types of people in the world. The first are like the patali tree whose blossoms are fine but don't turn into fruit. Those who indulge in mere speech and don't practice the might of what they talk about are of this type. The second group are like the plantain tree. It gives flowers and fruits both. Those who speak and act and practice what they assert are of this type. The third type is like the jack tree. It has no flowers but only fruits. The best type are like this. They don't prattle or boast or talk high. They are silent workers who act with no boast." The battle continued and then Rama shot a bunch of 31 arrows at the same instant on Ravana. One arrow entered the nectar jar which Ravana had underneath his navel. The rest, the 30, sliced off his heads and hands. Thus, Ravana rid himself of life and reached heaven. Hearing that Ravana had died, Queen Mandandori collapsed on the floor and recalled Ravana's prowess. She then remarked, "Oh, what avail were the austerities that you underwent?" She continued, "Didn't I plead with you, holding on your feet to surrender to Rama?" Lord Rama and Lord Lakshmana approached Vibhishana and consoled him. They directed him to perform the funeral rites for his deceased brother, and according to that order, he carried out all the prescribed rites and rituals at the proper places with correct ceremony. Rama called for the installation of Vibhishana as the new emperor of Lanka. Despite Vibhishana's protestations, he assumed his new role. Rama called Hanuman and told him to share with his mother Sita what had transpired. Sita was glad at the news of Rama's victory and Ravana's downfall. Her face brightened with joy. She felt a great thrill of delight. Preparing for a return to Lord Rama, Vibhishana directed that Sita may take a bath, wear fine clothes, and be decked in jewels when she moved out of the garden. But Sita cast aside this suggestion. It is said that when Sita came within a short range, Rama declared that she should not be brought to him immediately, but that she had to go through the ordeal of fire. Of course, Rama knew that Sita had spotless character and was the very embodiment of virtue. And Vibhishana, Angada, and Sugriva and others knew that the fire ordeal was only to convince the world. Sita welcomed the rite, for the world would be convinced that her heart was pure and unblemished. Today, fire will give me new birth, and after that I will wed the Lord again, said Mother Sita. Sita was elated when she saw the leaping flames. She had no trace of fear in her mind. She walked towards the fire and standing before it said, O receiver of sacred offerings, by word or deed or thought, I have not dwelt in my mind on anyone other than Rama, my Lord. O purifier, you reside in the heart of every living being. She prostrated before Rama and moved into the fire. The god of fire, Agni, appeared in the form of a Brahmin, bringing with him the real Sita, and offered her at Rama's feet. Dear sisters and brothers, this chapter ends with Lord Rama and Mother Sita entering into the aerial chariot which took off and turned north. Jai Sai Ram.